the funny car, Summernationals.
We've got a lot of superstars here lined up on the elimination chart. What does she tell us about some of the competition?
Well, we've got Roland Leong's Hawaiian, driven by Rick Johnson, very fast car. We've got John Brute Force. We've got Tom Hoover. We've got the Chi-Town Hustler. I mean, that's a famous one out of Chicago. We've got a bunch of cars.
I think we're going to have a great race, too.
You bet. It's going to be very exciting.
Superstars is set here at the Kansas City International Raceway for the American Drag Racing Association English Leather World Championship Series. Today's event encompasses the ultimate velocity car known everywhere as the nitro-burning funny car. This year's Summer Nationals has again attracted the biggest superstars in professional drag racing. Names like Rick Johnson in Roland Leong's Hawaiian Punch Car, second-generation Wayne Minnick in the Chi-Town Hustler, and John the Brute Force in the Wendy's Coca-Cola Funny Car. Force has always dominated the top half of the field here at the Summer Nationals, but he has yet to capture the honors of the winner's circle. John Force is out in full force, along with 8 of the world's top automotive athletes in the fueled funny car. Now, for the record, we're using the 3-round standard eliminator chart. The best ET starts in the #1 position, and he'll face the #5 qualifier when called by the race director to the staging lanes. The slower cars are up first. They create better traction. They leave tire rubber on the track for the later cars. Our first run down the quarter mile is performed by 2 natives of the Sun Belt. In the tower lane, Ray Higley from San Marco, California. And on the spectator side, Steve Hookinson from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Higley burns his car on the conservative side, but don't let him fool you. He's been running consistent times all this year. The weather's been the biggest factor keeping the drivers off the track. Several days of hard rain again doused the Summer Nationals. The second time this season a major event has been postponed because of rain. The shadows are long here at KCIR as Hookinson bows out of round 1 with a motor that doesn't want to continue under the strain. Higley's off the line, and he's out of the groove. He snakes his way down the track, makes his way over the finish line in a solo run. Saves wear and tear on the engine with a 677, 197 miles an hour in his global funny car. Our final run for this event will take us well into the evening. Some describe the fire from these cars as they run under the stars as an unearthly glow. Next up on the burnout pad, Wayne Minnick in the Chi-Town Hustler. He'll face Johnny West from Chandler, Arizona. West is kind of a whiz kid from the aerospace industry, specializing in safety and performance innovations. Minnick has the low ET thus far in the meet, picking up lane choice in the tower lane. Last night, Big Daddy Don Garlits talked with rookie Minnick on the occasion of posting his first career run in the 5s, made during qualifying.
Are we having trouble, or is this general maintenance?
Oh, Don, so far it's just general maintenance. We're just having a look at everything, making sure we're looking good for tomorrow.
Don't want to take any chances.
Yeah, as you well know, you can't take any chances with these things.
Yeah, sometimes the smallest part can stop one of these cars from making the run. Now, you qualified with a 580, and but on this other run, was it a little slick out there for you?
Yeah, we had a little bit of trouble down there, down from about half track on. It seemed a little loose, and it was trying to shake, and the motor seemed like it was running okay, but I knew it was going to be a little slower than the 580, so I shut it off early and tried to save pieces.
West is the only driver in the fueled ranks to switch his car after burn-ins from alcohol fuel to nitro in an attempt to hold his engine together. The cars are staged. They're off the line in a dead heat. Both cars find the right line of tracks as they head for the finish. It's an incredibly close charge. Minnick really hits it at the top end, but it's Johnny West. His experience wins out over youth. West scores a 6:08 with a 231.95 miles an hour. A very slim 6/1000ths of a second separating the 2 cars as they cross the finish line. Just out of the staging area, 2 very different teams once again face each other. Earlier this year at the Spring Nationals, Tom Hoover from Maple Grove, Minnesota, sprang to victory over John the Brute Force, who hails from Fullerton, California. Force fell to defeat, never leaving the starting line in Tulsa because of a faulty water line. Both of these drivers level clouds of smoke, proving they each have the power to finish first. Earlier this week, while the drivers waited for the weather to cooperate, Barbara caught up with John Force for what proved to be a very special look at the man and his career.
I'm just as safe in a race car as I am on the Harbor Freeway in LA. You know what I'm saying? Have you ever jumped out in that mess? It's like being in the Indy 500. You go out there and they try to run over you. So a race car is really safe comparison. If you look at the number of runs that I've made, and I mean, I've been on fire. I've been over on my head before. I had motor explosions. I mean, I've done it all, and I've never been hurt yet.
What's it like being on the road all the time, a vagabond, living out of a suitcase? Is it really as glamorous as it seems to be a drag superstar?
No, it's really not. It all depends on how you want to look at it. I imagine no different than being a rock star. That's why so many of them, I believe, rock stars in their peak of their career take such falls because they burn out. They reach a point where what you strive for. When I was a kid, I thought, gee, if I could race a car and race with a guy like Don Prudhomme or Don Gartlitz, and my friends could see me now. But the fact is, you're out here now, and the wrong friends are seeing you. And the people, they lose sight of that. Sometimes I have to go home. You know, it's really funny, but you always go back where you come from. And I'm from a town in Los Angeles, Downey, California. I go back there sometimes just to drive the streets, sit in the old Taco Bell I used to sit in, remember the memories, how it was. When I was in high school and I sat and I watched the Prudhommes and the McEwens and the Gartlets and the big names, I always relate to them because I followed their tracks of what I dreamed of doing. And you want to catch up with them, and I have caught up with them now.
What are your goals, John? Where do you want to be in 5 years?
Well, in 5 years, naturally, I want to be drag racing. And I've learned over the years that I enjoy driving still. A lot of the racers have reached a point, I think, where they want to get out of it and maybe get into the money side of it, promoting it, getting younger drivers to come in for them. A lot of the guys, the older fellas in the business are thinking about that. But myself, I still enjoy racing. And my goal is naturally to be world champion on all 3 circuits, you know, ADRA, NHRA, IHRA. Everyone has that goal in mind, but to get there, it's a long road, and one, it takes money. And so my deal is to stay in marketing and keep working it, and I learn every day from it, you know, how to get better.
But do you think that makes you work harder to catch up?
Sure it does. It gives me, I wake up in the morning. I've even found myself sitting in a race car, driving a car, and relating that I was that person, that I could do what they did. I could win a race by truly believing that I was them. Now, I've had people look at me and say, well, you're one of the superstars of the sport, but yet I find myself sitting in the car thinking, if Don Prudhomme was here or McEwen, what would they do in this situation? How can they have the confidence to win, to make you the best? Because winning one's not going to do it. There's a race every week.
John Force has brought determination and plain sweat to professional drag racing. In motorsports, that turns winners into champions.
I always pray before I race, myself. I mean, it might be your last ride. I'm not trying to make this dramatic, don't misunderstand me. But the fact is, it's not really dramatic till it happens. And if you could have seen Shirley's wreck at Montreal, I mean, it gave me gut aches. Almost made me not want to get back in the race car. There's only one other gut ache that compares, and that's hunger ache. So you start thinking, if I don't get in this car, I'm going to be hungry tomorrow, so it overruns it.
Both drivers are lined up. They're ready to make tracks. Force is in the tower lane. The tree makes its count to green, and they're off with a fury that shakes the clocks in the timing tower. It'll be another close finish here at the Summernationals. John Force wins with a 6:11, 236 miles an hour. Hoover was close on his chutes at 240 miles an hour, but still 4/100ths of a second slower than a very happy John Force. We need to take a short commercial break, but when we come back...
Room for error. I'm Roger Gustin. I've been racing cars for 27 years. When I'm on the track, I'm out to win. But when I'm off the track and on the highway, I follow the 55-mile-an-hour speed limit. Statistics prove it. 55 saves lives. It's a limit I can live with, and you can...
Here at the Kansas City International Raceway and the Funny Cars Summer Nationals on the world of pro drag superstars. Doc Holliday from St. Paul, Minnesota sails through the burnout with a strong-sounding engine. Rick Johnson is in the tower lane. A number of times here on the world of pro drag superstars, we've referred to the danger that fires present in the funny cars and the fact that these vehicles can become a charred tomb. Unfortunately, that's not an exaggeration, but the drivers do have sophisticated protection against the intense flames created by the nitromethane. Don Gartlitz explained to Barbara what the drivers have at their defense.
What happens, Big Daddy, when one of these cars catches on fire?
Well, Barbara, it's a terrible situation. But we have a really good fire extinguisher system on these cars. It's an onboard fire extinguisher system. It's a bottle of halogen on each side, 2 big bottles. The driver has a control in the cockpit. He pushes a lever, and this stuff is sprayed all inside the car and fills it up with this halogen gas and protects him.
But what if that lever doesn't work? Is it always fail-safe?
Well, it's pretty good, but every once in a while, something doesn't happen, it doesn't work, or maybe the fire is so massive that the halogen is all expanded and it doesn't put the fire out. And in that case,
they wear one of those fire suits.
That's right. They have a fire suit. And Rick Johnson here is showing us one of these. And Rick, you've been in a couple of these things. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it?
Well, it's pretty exciting. Normally the fire will come down close to the finish line where the car is running 225 to 250 miles an hour. There's so much air flowing through the body at that speed. That's what makes the fire so violent and so bad. The Freon fire bottles will take the oxygen out of the air so you can control the fire, but you still need protection until you can get stopped and get out of the car. That's why we wear these great big heavy fire suits.
The drivers inch their cars up to the staging lights. Johnson is cued to the line by owner Roland Leong, a responsibility he personally prefers to take. The cars are staged. Johnson is off the line with his 17-inch tires glued to the pavement. Holliday doesn't seem to have the power to handle the Hawaiian this go-round. It's the Hawaiian as Rick Johnson arrows his way over the finish line with a 6:07, 243 miles an hour. That polishes off round 1. 4 drivers will advance to round 2, the semifinals. Rick Johnson posted the low ET so far today, a 6:07, a little off from qualifying, but there's plenty of time and plenty of speed left in the track. Johnson will face Johnny West, while John Force lines up against Ray Higley. The 2 funny car teams grabbing the win lights in the semifinals will fight it out for the glory in the final. Right now, back in the pits, there are 4 crew chiefs who have their hands full. Their task is to completely take apart and put back together the 500 cubic inch engines. Everything comes off: the blower, the manifold, the oil pan. All the pistons are carefully examined for flaws that might cause up to $70,000 in damage if an entire engine is lost, $250,000 if a car is lost in an accident. But the opportunity to win a national event places the attention on the cost of winning.
Driver of the car at that time, Mike.
The sun has gone down here in Kansas City, signaling it's time for the Motorsports English Leather Calendar Girl pageant. Nearly 2 weeks ago, our cameras captured the glamour and excitement of the pageant preliminaries. 3 finalists are back now for a chance to go to Las Vegas with hopes of becoming a calendar girl. Maria Norris, Debbie Kim, and Rhonda Green are here. The judges have made their decision, their final, and we'll know who the lucky winner is in just a few minutes. First up in round 2, Johnny West in the independent car that carries his own name, and Rick Johnson driving the Hawaiian Punch car. Johnson has the low ET coming into this round, giving him lane choice. He's in the tower lane. The cars are running rich in this cool night air. We asked Johnson earlier how he felt about racing the Summer Nationals.
Is the track giving you a little trouble, or is it mechanical?
Well, last night when we made that 6:02 pass, the car only ran on 7 cylinders, and it was down on power trying to get adjusted back from Denver, Colorado to this low altitude. The car had a lot of power tonight and just kind of got out of the groove and got loose, so I had to lift once or twice there, and it just kind of slid through there.
The cars have come to rest under the tree, setting the lights in motion. They're off. Johnson pulls out in front from the start. West is going to have to push it to catch up. It's Rick Johnson with a clear lead at the finish. Johnson goes into the final with a 6:03, 243 miles an hour. That's the identical miles per hour he posted in his first run today. It's time to take notes. This is Phil Harper for Pro Drag Superstars. We're just about set for the last run of the semifinal round. John Force is in the tower lane, and Ray Higley's on the spectator side. Force displays his power as the cars stage. The flames pour out of his exhaust pipes. They're off. John Force leaps off the line with power at his command. He holds on to the center of the track, easing into the final. Force stops the clock with a 6:16, 242 miles an hour. That places 2 longtime rivals in the big run of the day. Both drivers are nearly the same age, young in terms of the sport, but each have nearly 20 years of experience under their drivers. Even the fans work for this. John Force has waited as long as anyone for this opportunity. No one has come closer to the winner's circle in the past 7 years without stepping foot into it than John Force.
Yeah, Roland's got the edge on us with lane choice, but the track here at Kansas City is excellent this weekend. I don't think lane choice is going to make a difference, and I think we're just going to outrun him. Oh, the motor's fine. The car just spun the tire a little bit and moved over out of her tracks, and I had to pedal it, and she ran a 16, so I know if she'll go straight, she ought to run an 80 or 90. We kind of run our own lane over here. You know, our trick is not really strategy against this bunch, because we can run consistent with them, and we're just going to shoot our best shot at getting to the other end and run our own lane. If we can do that, then we can outrun them.
His opponent is totally capable of beating him. Rick Johnson in the Hawaiian Punch car has fought a seesaw battle with force countless times. Johnson once again has picked up the low ET, placing himself in the popular tower lane. Let's see how he feels about the final.
Well, we're just trying to work the thing down. We ran quicker the second run than we did the first run, and the car's coming around. The first run smoked the tires pretty hard. So Roland made some clutch changes and some tune-up changes to fix it, and it did fix it. The engine's looking good all day. We just kind of got the power back out of it, trying to get it down the racetrack and trying to keep it from smoking the tires so we win this drag race.
John Force shows no sign of giving up on a long sought-after title from the Summer Nationals. The drivers are staged.
They're ready to go.
It's a fast start as the cars tear into the groove. But Force begins to pull away from Johnson. John Force in the Coca-Cola Funny Car wins the Summer Nationals with a very fast 582, 240 miles an hour. Let's watch that run again. As John Force passes by a string of tough breaks in the past, he wins tonight to become this year's champion in Kansas City. Big Daddy's in the shutdown area with the Force.
Yeah, all right. Congratulations, John.
Thank you.
What kind of a run was it?
I didn't even hear. What was it, Coyle? She was running good. I mean, we had to drive her off from the runs before, and Coyle looked in the window, and he pinched her a little. He says, drive it off, and I thought, okay, let's see if she'll run. And she'll usually run 90s, even an 80s, squeezing her, because she's just like having a small injector on her.
It was 582 was the ET.
Was it? Yeah. 580. Nice job, guys. Good job. I got to hand the credit here. The team's worked hard.
Did you lift early?
No, I legged her right into the center. Someone stole a cone on me. I don't know what happened down there. I was looking for a mile-an-hour cone. I thought I might be in trouble, but I knew she was running good. She was up, and the flame was right, and I got to give it to my team, Cole. You guys did a good job, all of you, so thank you.
Well, congratulations again, John. A very nice run. Car looks clean.
Thank you, sir.
See you in the winner's circle again.
Okay, hope so.
This has been another spectacular event. The Harmon family, who hosts this event each year, has done a wonderful job to make this race happen despite the weather and other natural hazards. Thanks again to the Harmon.